Welcome back, Overwatch fans, to another amazing night.
We have a fantastic match tonight, no question about it.
Oh my god, yes!
Look up a run! Make sure they can't even follow up afterwards.
And Watch has found 2 in this fight thus far. Make that 3, make that 4 right now here. Dynamic team gets a 4-man tire.
Those who find the picks will save the fights, and they don't really need to save what they've already won.
Brig gets 3, wins the primal rage.
Experience tranquility.
Hello and welcome back. Well, yes, welcome back. We're hopping right into the freaking lower bracket right now. It's the playoffs. It's the qualifiers. We're starting to end. It's the beginning of the end here for Tranquility. And holy guacamole, we've got one heck of a matchup on our hands. We got Clairvoyance versus Ragnarok Freya, which I have actually casted Clairvoyance before. I'm loving Overwatch 2 so far. It's been out for people have had some time to really adapt to get to it so far. So I'm really excited to see how the kind of play style that Clairvoyance is going to have compared to their last match. They've had some time to review, assess, and heading into match 14 of the bracket of all things. Oh man, what do you think about this?
Well, Missile, I was looking earlier in the Discord, and I was looking at predictions channel. If you're not in the Tranquility Discord, then you should totally join. If you are a new person, that's at tranquility.gg. You can find out all about the both the league and also the Discord, all that if you're new. And also, I saw in there in the predictions that there were about 43 people that were favoring Clairvoyance in this matchup, which, I mean, I personally, this is my first cast for Tranquility. My name is Wigloff, and I used to be actually playing in the Transcendence tier, so it's nice to be doing some stuff with the Tranquility people. Go ahead.
Oh no! Well, that's awesome. Freaking a player to a caster. That's some phenomenal stuff. So is this your first casting overall, or
just for Tranquility? But yeah, what I was saying earlier before I cut out.
Sorry.
No worries. Yeah, for some reason that just happened. But I saw that Ragnarok Freya actually just would 3-0 against their last matchup. So even though they're favored, I'm kind of interested to see how they play against Clairvoyance. So
that's true against the Chicago Mafia of all things. Which, I mean, that's one tough sounding, one tough name, not only by itself, but a lot of these teams, a lot of this lower bracket kind of matchup, you can kind of look at a lot of these teams and go like, oh, they won, so they're obviously just better. But what I'm trying to say is that the scores don't necessarily show all of exactly what went down in those matches. Clairvoyance could be met with a Ragnarok Freya that absolutely just pummels them, even though they have favorites. And you can already see it, like match 7 with Aimbots versus Obfuscation. I also casted Obfuscation a while ago. They got unfortunately 3-0 by Aimbots, but there's like it's I'm trying to say each one was very hard fought. It's going to be interesting to see all around all these teams go head to head. I love the energy for like brackets and stuff just in general, especially when it's like nearing the end. Everyone is really just fighting with their teeth to the metal, and that's today's no different.
I mean, and they fought for their lives against those goons, right? This is do or die time. This is the knockout stage. And especially in the lower bracket, you want to make it to grand finals. That's your last shot in terms of winning this season of the Discord tier. So of the Harmony tier, my bad. So I mean, at this point, I wonder if we're going to see probably not seeing really any surprising team comps, probably more of your safe meta picks, but who knows what it'll bring today. So
Oh man, well, so let me tell you a little something about Tranquility casting really quick. People are these teams have wonderful personality. Spectating each and every single person, everyone's got something to say and a way to say it with the team. So speaking about meta stuff, the meta is kind of playing what you're good at in a way, if that makes sense. But yeah, oh man, the Clairvoyants, I believe they're one of the fast teams I spectated. So seeing how Ragnarok kind of adapts to that. What kind of compositions would you kind of suggest for making your lower bracket run, I guess?
Right, so I mean, I've been seeing a lot of those the Winston brawl comps with the Kiriko and the Lucio. I really like those kind of brawlish type comps, and I mean, I guess we're gonna find out right now because we're starting to get into match right now.
That is very true. And Paul, of all things, this was a heater during the recent grand finals and playoffs of Overwatch League. This was one of those maps that was very kind of rarely played and very very tough one at that. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they exactly go here.
I mean, of all the things, like I want to see those brawl, especially with those Winstons where you have you can jump up to the high. We can kind of see.
There it is. Yeah, so the Winston. Yeah, you were running the. Sorry, you came back in just as you started talking about it. But yeah, okay, yeah, this is gonna be a rough match. Yeah, this is very brawly. If you want to brawl, this is right up your lane, especially with the Kiriko Lucio. That's one of the meta support lineups. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they go up against the Ryan composition because it could be more diveable, but yeah, they're gonna press it right away, trying to prevent themselves from getting dove, really pressing themselves into that choke here.
Right, and the Ryan is doing a lot of damage here, cleaving into the team, and with that Lucio, it gives them a lot of maneuverability. And they're already backing up for the point. They're not a fan of the pressure that Florida is putting on right now.
Absolutely not. And oh man, Addison had something to say about that. Check out a Panda who is trailing behind just a little too long, and now on the fight, it's going to be this really head-to-head kind of presence. That Immortality Field's going to do a lot, but Addison, again, they're just going to pressure this.
And we're going to keep an eye on this Reaper here, because at this point, he's kind of running free into the front line here. Oh, yeah. Going down, of course, so...
Oh no, that's totally fine. Once you get the point, you're pretty happy with anything happening, especially when you got these bells. Yeah, this was a really interesting scene because normally I would expect a Reinhardt composition to have more of a fight on that head-to-head, especially on a point this kind of like squarish. It's literally a boxing ring, so really making use of the utility that Kiriko can do with a Winston, the more fluid composition. You can really see that, like. You can have a Baptiste, you are going to come up on a window especially too. Oh man, that rotate. They're going straight to point. Yeah, they're probably going to pop a window on the point soon.
And that cleave is paying off, right? Ryan is already about to hit his shatter, and that's going to come online alongside both the overdrive and the window as well coming out here, and they're starting to drop on the side of Zalox is getting some kills here as well, so...
Holy...
It was pretty much a bloodbath here. They really just kind of steamrolled.
That was like 4 kills. Yeah, this is awesome to see from you. Yeah, they're gonna have to swap to that Kiriko mirror because you can see how much that was just like boosting all the fluidity that the Winston had, and it really just Winston countered Reinhardt with this composition. So now you're gonna be coming up on about 4 ultimates. Oh man, this is gonna be rough heading in, especially when Panda doesn't have that beat yet. Yeah, they're gonna pop that overclock and apply that pressure.
Yeah, Clairvoyance really has a big advantage here. We see the overdrive coming out and finding a few kills here. So really, they're just fighting back on the side of Ragnarok.
Holy, Addison picking up some nice kills here, chasing down Stasis at the moment, trying to find this last one. But Pickers with 2 Saggers, yeah, holy guacamole. They've actually forced Ragnarok's composition to basically mirror them entirely, but now coming up on 90% of this objective, this is going to be tough, especially when Pepino still has that beat advantage.
Especially with still the 4 beats as well. They are really just had a lot of value going into.
Holy, I mean, yeah. Well, one thing about value is those freaking not only the composition itself, but how this team played it. Because a lot of teams that could just like get like, oh my god, they're playing this, why don't we just play Reinhardt, go head-to-head at them? But you could see how that played out in a lot of those scenarios. You could see how much value Zelox was getting. You could see how Pickers was getting all those, like, the value as Winston too. Because specifically as Winston, you can jump you can take advantage of a Reinhardt really easily. But like it can easily get countered then, because then you got Goose on the Reaper, you got Stasis with the movement that can take advantage of punishments. But with Zelox on that Reaper and some guy with the Kiriko, a lot of movement was granted to the Reaper to actually make almost kind of a synergistic dive with that tank. So now heading into this, it looks like the minor composition switch from Rakosi swapping to the Kiriko.
Reinhardt here, which is a little bit surprising. But again, we're seeing the strength of these off angles that they're able to take with the Winston and the Kiriko. Clairvoyant's getting pretty low, but getting healed back up here. And Ragnarok has the point control here, so we'll see how... Ooh, Clairvoyant's going... losing their Baptiste early is pretty tough. That's pretty much gonna end their push here.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty detrimental pick. I was just talking about how much value Reaper was getting, so knocking that out, yeah, you're gonna have to back away, especially Florida's still on that Reinhardt. If Florida had swapped over to Winston, maybe that could have been another kind of just like, oh, you lose a player, you go back in. No, but keeping this Reinhardt pick, really smart stuff from Ragnarok right here. Because now you can actually start mirroring the kind of, if the Winston pops in on your Reinhardt can actually just ignore that and go on everyone else, or everyone just targets the Winston, because you now have this fluidity from both sides. So really, coming down to the tank play for both these teams, Pickers looking like he wants to just dive in from that side here.
But it's kind of tough to catch up the Kiriko here, especially when she has that Swift Step.
Oh yeah.
Finding some pressure on the back line, which is opening up some shots for Addison here. We'll see if they can find any picks. Right now, it looks like they're going to get not...
There's Picarus. Oh man! What a slam.
It's off the point again. We were knocking this right. First.
And then here. This Reinhardt pick has mainly been the main thing, but now trying to play around this, it's going to be about who can kind of take off people. Looks like again running onto the side kind of entrance into this point, where it did technically work out. But yeah, they're just going to press the aggression with it.
Rush as well.
No.
Zelox doing a lot of damage with that Reaper, looking for Addison, but not quite able to find it yet. Goose dropping super low here as well. But Goose has the Death Blossom on the line too.
Oh, and that a lot of ultimates coming out, but really, if you're only going to use 2 support ults and win that entire fight, that is some beautiful stuff. I remember one certain team in the playoffs of Grand Finals was comboing those two support ultimates, and did not go as well as it just did. So some fantastic stuff from Clairvoyance. Looks like they really saw what they wanted to do right there. Picker is using also the Primal. I mean, you're not going to be upset with that when you have 2 DPS ults and Panda use the beat. Yeah, it looks like Zelox already pressing that pressure up top.
And the Death Blossom is online here, and they have an ult advantage, so they might not even need it, to be honest.
Oh, there it is.
The Ray Storm coming out too.
Oh, but the counter.
There is a massive amount of damage coming out of this Reaper on the side of Ragnarok. Definitely holding Clairvoyance at bay.
It's a 3-3 on fight point, it seems. Looks like 4.
Picker is looking for a pick on the Kiriko as well.
Okay. And the Shatter.
Large slam.
Oh man, that could be fight winning. Yeah, it's gonna win that. All right, so that's the main kind of tank difference, right? I'm not trying to say one tank is necessarily better than the other, but the difference in the kind of Reinhardt versus Winston, both these teams really loving going around that side and then entering the point, which is very helpful for losing a lot of that kind of the angles that the enemy could get on you, a lot of that damage, poke damage, but. Yeah, what that's going to come down to is the kind of poke damage kind of aspect of it, because Clairvoyance was really good at just getting onto the point, but and avoiding a lot of that poke damage. But with that composition, I think what it came down to, just really smart stuff from Ragnarok. I mean, you could see how they 3-0'd their last team, I believe. I mean, once you're on the point fighting as Clairvoyance, a lot of what it came down to is kind of just, oh, I want to dive this target, oh, I want to dive this target, and a very good synergy from their team overall, and like who they wanted to focus, how they wanted to do it. But Rakosi swapping onto that Kiriko is going to make a lot of these dive targets invulnerable, and if it's just for a second, Florida can take advantage of that and just smack you with a hammer, and Winston Sexilcan is not going to do as much. But moving on to this last point of Nepal, this is a very, very unique map, and so it could favor literally either tank. It's going to be interesting to see how these teams go about. It looks like they're both going on that side.
Yeah, it's going to be very challenging for the Reinhardt to get value here once they cap the point. But again, like you were saying, if they use that bell correctly, that's just eating cooldowns here.
Oh yeah.
And it's
what a pin from Florida. And then look at, yeah, they're just gonna clean up after that. Oh sorry. That was some Braz and stuff from Florida right there. And it is gonna win them that fight. Basically turning into a Winston at that point, and all just kind of falls out over there. But they're gonna be instantly pressing up this choke point. They're trying not to let Clairvoyants have any sort of angle to really dive on them like they did that last map. Looks like they're still gonna try and do it, but holy!
They are pushing the choke. They are saying, you cannot go this way. This is not allowed.
Yeah, it's gonna make him think. Florida coming up 70% on the shatter. This is starting to get a little intense if you're Clairvoyance. Looks like they do have an opening and they do press it. That was an adrenaline rush and a half, and Florida pounces on it, but it falls.
Yeah, that Reinhardt is going to go down and kind of open the fight up once again for Ragnarok. And this Lucio's on point from Clairvoyance and hoping for a pick there. Can't quite find it. But now hopefully we might even see some Boostio as well. Or wow, actually a clean 1v1 from the side of Addison taking out Stasis.
Oh yeah, Addison's been kind of a little menace on the Soul Join, but
that comes out of nowhere with the Shatter as well. Not quite needing it though, with just Icarus on point.
Oh man, yeah, that's gonna clean up the rest of the crew right there. I mean, I didn't see that coming either. So coming up on
scare. Oh
yeah, Florida on this Reinhardt has been. These pins have been something else, let me tell you. And coming up on 5 ults now, if you're oh my gosh.
Final fight territory as well.
Yeah.
Seeing the Kitsune rush as well as the Death Blossom combo. The Bell is soaking up a lot of that damage.
And another
shatter too on Pepino, taking him down. Primal Rage, not finding any targets right now, but Addison finding a quick pick.
And Stasis is gonna overclock. Looks like the DPS are still trying to pressure any amounts of damage they want. Stasis wrapping around. Look at how much space that
it's just free reign from up here, aside from the Lucio that's pressuring, but it's not where you want to be on point.
Oh, Panda whooping him off. That's gonna be detrimental here. Yeah, everyone else looking like they're gonna be falling apart if you're the Clairvoyants, but not in an ugly manner whatsoever. That was some mean stuff coming out. Florida was that was the best example of a Florida guy, right?
Yeah, exactly. You do not want to mess with Florida.
Oh yeah, or the rest of this team have at it. I mean, these pins were just something else, and when you're running a Winston composition that's built on tactility, that's built on really smart strategic tactical plays, you got Addison going on the wide angles, you got Zelux picking up with the synergy on Picarus, you got some guy with those bells, and the support lineup from Clairvoyance, the fluidity it grants his team is absolutely awesome, and Florida just was not having any of that. And this was a big point for me, just first map shenanigans. Nepal, it didn't go too well for a lot of the teams in Overwatch League either, so heading into this next map, I do think Clairvoyants have a shot.
Yeah, I mean, Clairvoyance definitely has a shot, but, you know, we also want to talk about those super clean rotations that are coming out from Ragnarok. You know, when you have that Reinhardt, you have to have your comms on point. You need to know where you're going. Lucio has to be speed boosting in the right direction, so that kind of speaks to the brawl synergy that they have there. You know, when you have that synergy, when you have that good pathing, then you become a powerhouse, right?
Oh yeah, that was so in the first round. It was like, oh my god, Clairvoyance is absolutely just smothering Ragnarok right now, and that Reinhardt composition was looking downright goofy. But they ended up swapping to the like correct in quotations heroes, ended up swapping over, and they eventually built up enough of a name for themselves that they could actually finally take out Clairvoyance on a map that is just all I called it very unique. What I meant to say was complex. you got the right side of the half map. You got the Lucio boops, the Reinhardt. Like the Reinhardt now with the pin cancel actually makes him like and basically an equal threat as Winston, because I mean Winston can like jump out of there, but now with the pin cancel stuff, but also overall just a lot of skill from both these teams. I'm gonna love to see how it goes on a Midtown of all. Oh man, this is the most Call of Duty map ever in Overwatch.
Right, and speak about a Reinhardt Brawl map, right? You're going underneath the subway car. That's a perfect choke to kind of explode out from with your shield up. So I wonder if we'll see that composition again. And also, I'd love to see some more of Addison on the Sojourn too, finding those off angles, because Addison was really hitting those right clicks. Was really shooting heads and making the most of the overdrive.
Oh yeah, especially like I believe one of the last fights, getting that pick onto the Reinhardt, Florida of all people. I mean, that's just big, especially if you're Soldier. You can it's basically a mini Winston. Well, I'm saying mini Winston is really weird coming out of my mouth, but you can have this mobility that you wouldn't normally have. As again, I love Soldiers as an Overwatch 2 in general, but holy, you can do a lot, and you can, especially with the support lineup from Clairvoyance, you have just so much utility, you have so much ability, you have so much opportunity, and Midtown is the map that you're going to have the basically map advantage given what we've seen.
Yeah, no, definitely. And there are a lot of spots here to take those off angles where you can sit with your Kiriko too and throw those kunai, because Kiriko is a force to be reckoned with. We've all seen those clips of the 2-shot headshot, or even the 1-shot that's already a little bit low, but we're starting to get into this map right here, and we're going to see our team comps coming through in a second.
Oh yeah, I'm cracking my fingers. We got peeps writing down notes. All right, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Rekusi, I hope you do. I hope you do.
Yeah, a Doomfist here.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Rekusi now is actually. I hope he does, but also I was so shocked by the Doomfist pick. I didn't even realize is actually playing the tank lineup. Florida swapping off to the Moira now. Looks like the little bit of a switch up here. It's gonna be, which is what you want. Midtown has a lot of teams that bring out niche heroes, niche composition swaps, because it's such a niche map. So it's gonna be. I think they will actually go with the Doomfist, and running a Zelox with the Sombra. I think that is gonna help counter this a little coming in, but this is going to be these are going to be really fast fights.
Right, it's all about whether or not Zelox is going to be finding those hacks and denying and amplifying that extra damage, right? I mean, Rekusi is already on point, bypassing it. That's how you want to see Midtown played, right? Not getting stuck in that choke.
Oh yeah. I mean, if there's a little traffic light on that choke point actually, so if it says green, I mean, just go, and that's what they did. Fighting on this point right now, trying to find. Ooh, beautiful!
Addison finding a huge pick already, and Pickers is also diving into the backline, hoping to find their Kiriko.
Yep, finding a pick onto hack onto Genji. That's gonna make Goose fall. And although Florida did get that little Kiriko diff, swapping off to that support role, looks like the rest of. Oh, okay, yeah. Clairvoyance is gonna be cleaning this up.
Yeah, and letting a hack onto Rekusi as well, it seems like Clairvoyance is going to be able to hold this point relatively cleanly. And come away with 3 different ults close to or above half.
Yeah, they definitely saw that one coming. I love that team name. But yeah, so I think they're going to have to change things up. It looks they're baiting. Wow. They're going to do the same thing again.
Probably going to see an EMP here in the mid-fight as well, which always just kind of turns the tide. So we can look for that here as well with the Primal Rage coming online too. But they're just kind of giving the first take for free to Ragnarok.
I mean, I wouldn't say it for free. I mean, that cost Addison a 3K right there.
Right.
Almost with Rekusi over here. But now coming up, okay. If you are Ragnarok, you are a little worried, but not in like a. You got 2 minutes, you're completely fine. But what I'm going to point out is Panda's coming up on a beat, and Rekusi's coming up on a meteor strike. That's going to be about it, though. You don't really have those DPS ults that Clairvoyance does have. Not only those, you're coming up on 5 ults if you're Clairvoyance. They're going to be running Rampage on this.
Yeah, and Panda is running around, or actually that's Pepino going straight to Voice and actually finding a kill. So it seems like Clairvoyance is already cleaning up. They're down to some big hacks coming out as well. Going to clean up Panda in a second here. We're waiting for it. He's hacking soon through the wall, but I guess that Lucio wall riding, when you hit those when you hit it, it hits and you get away. That's how the hero works.
That is exactly what Frogger said. And now, heading into this fight, looks like Addison can pop the overclock.
And there's a hack as well onto Stasis. But
Yeah,
no
oh, man.
follow-up on there. Instead, it's all going to go down on point with Clairvoyance taking down Stasis and Goose as well. And the Kitsune Rush coming out. Pretty much just a clean up at this point again, but Goose has the Dragon Blade online, as well as Florida getting close to the Clairvoyance, so might be able to see some magic happen here as we're pulling into the final minute of their attack.
Magic's what they're gonna need. Rakosi on that Doomfist, you could see trying to go in on Addison, didn't necessarily have the rest of the team with him necessarily, so swapping over to the Winston pick, something more mobile, something more light on the feet, but most importantly, something that can actually match Picarus.
The Blade's coming out here, finding Nani picks a great counter from the beat.
Oh yeah, dude, Goose was on like 10 HP too. That was some bold stuff. Florida is gonna find a pick.
Maybe finding another pick as well onto their Kiriko. Not yet. The Primal Rage coming out, flying into the back line, and again, not really finding anything else, but
Oh man, it looks like they are gonna be taking this point here. Yeah. That is,
Pepino getting a last.
oh yeah, these last seconds. It's just be stalling with your life, trying to get this one to overtime. Rakosi finding a 3K, make it 4. Oh gosh, I hope I didn't make. I don't hope I didn't miss 5, but that was some good stuff coming out from from Ragnarok right there. Especially okay, Zelox is going to be coming up on an EMP. All right, yeah.
But they're just going to try and reset here with a Pulse Bomb, finding Picarus, making it easier for Ragnarok to continue pushing that card along.
Oh yeah. 2 minutes left though. You're not walking away from this unhappy if you're Clairvoyance. That was a phenomenal hold. Just Rakosi and Stasis making some brilliant last minute swaps. Overall, Ragnarok so far making these team comp swap. I was gonna say
yeah, these swaps, and we see Picarus starting to dive into the back line. The Bell coming out as well. The EMP catching 4 or 2 here, and starting to just clean up Ragnarok as well. So Zelox finding a pick here, and just continuing to pummel on the car, getting the hack on to Goose as well.
I mean, that's just a classic EMP, right?
Right, it just opens up for further hacks and some kills as well, so that's what you're hoping for out of your Sombra, is just that those steady hacks.
Yeah, and that's absolutely, and that's the second fight they've actually won with just an EMP, and looks like Addison getting a pick on Panda was huge, especially considering he had beat, and Goose has this play. It looks like Rakosi is going to try and make an up on this.
Yeah, definitely forcing out that Primal Rage is a lot of value, considering that she's staying alive so long. With the Blade coming here, dashing in, unfortunately not able to find much for Goose. But Florida using, again, the Moira to keep the team up, forcing a beat from Pepino. This is kind of just a back and forth. We're not seeing many people fall here. A lot of sustainability is being used. Pepino goes down, hopefully getting some space for Ragnarok.
Yep.
But Picarus is about to have the Primal Rage online.
Yeah, no ults if you're Ragnarok right now. You do have that pressure on Addison, but okay, Stasis picking it up.
Luckily, the Kitsune Rush was able to get out in time for Clairvoyance, but they have 3 down right now. We're really not going to see them come back in time, I think, for this point.
Yeah, Picarus just making an making an absolute movie out of this King Kong stall right there. Does get the cart to overtime. This is another like basically overtime stall if you're or defense from Clairvoyance. Zelox
Pepino
on
is
point.
just surviving on point here. Yeah, just no one's looking at Pepino.
That'll eventually be it, but now only a minute 30 left. You are not stressed whatsoever if you're Clairvoyance. I mean, maybe a little annoyed at most, but with Zelox on this EMP and the high ground, historically Zelox has absolutely just been one ulting these fights and just getting their entire team to victory. So maybe timing is kind of what you're waiting for if you're Clairvoyance. You do find a hack.
And a large hack onto Goose, dropping to half HP, but able to kite it back. And there's our large EMP that we're waiting for, a 5-man EMP. but
That
no
was
picks
ginormous.
coming out yet from Clairvoyance. Pickers is looking again for the Genji, able to find him. Addison able to find Panda. Just cleaning up on the Sojourn right now.
Oh yeah, that was some mean stuff. Does get that stasis diff, which is gonna feel much better considering the 3K that stasis got on that second point right there. But coming up on about okay, you are gonna be coming up on beat for both sides, which is gonna be some pretty intense stuff, especially considering how aggressive Goose can be right now.
And we're seeing the Clairvoyance from Florida trying to push through the choke, while Zelox is just getting free hacks from above, dropping down. We're seeing a swift step away from Goose as well. Ragnarok is doing a great job of forcing Clairvoyance back to spawn.
Yeah,
Goose
that was
zoning out the team.
That was a sorry. that was a meme. Like Goose went up there and immediately got the headshots onto the invisible Sombra. That's some nasty stuff. Still, Pepino has this beat, saving it for that blade probably.
And we're in overtime here, looking for the perfect time to dash. But the beat counters the blade and is unable to find anything out the gate. Addison is looking for another pick on Pickers, but on Rakusi, but Rakusi is actually going to fall. So it seems like Clairvoyance is going to clean up this last fight.
Yeah, they had a really solid idea of what they wanted to do throughout that entire match. Yeah, you saw every single defense going down to overtime essentially, and it was just a matter of time at that point. I think a lot of that was just Goose on the Genji. I mean, the first point they got it from Stasis and Rakusi swapping off, but eventually it came down to Goose on that Genji because in this last moment, you could even see how much pressure is putting onto Pepino holding that beat. And when I was talking earlier about how fluid the supports are for this team, if Pepino's stressed and having to hold a beat, you don't necessarily get to go. You don't get to use beat to go in, which is what Panda did for that fight. But you don't get to use beat to go in. You got to keep yourself alive and kind of away from a lot of the team. You have to play overall a slower, kind of more passive kind of play style, and that was really just kind of some hard stuff for Clairvoyance to get over, especially on Midtown. But they held it time and time again. This is a phenomenal team just overall. So heading into this, looks like Goose isn't going to be on the Genji anymore. They're going to be running almost exactly what exactly what Nepal or Clairvoyance was running on Nepal. So it's going to be interesting how they go about on Midtown. But Zelox still on this Sombra and Pepino playing the Ana.
Right, that Ana is going to be a tough sell against this Reaper Lucio combo. You know, I love to see Reaper on this. Again, that rotational power, right?
Yeah.
Anywhere where we can see a Reaper ball, I'm a big fan of that comp. So, yeah, we'll get into it in a second here and see whether or not Zelos can keep up with the value that they've been putting out on the Sombra.
Oh yeah, it's going to be tough to approach this. So Pepino on this Ana, you're going to get a lot more survivability, sustainability, and vigor overall because of the nano boost and the nades. But Florida is able to counter some of those with that cleanse. Looks like they are going to press bottom.
Yeah, and that hack is getting denied right now for Zelox, struggling to find it. But Rakusi is trying to force the way underneath to open up that angle. Ooh. And Florida's actually dropping right away, which is opening up again for Clairvoyance as they begin making their way to point.
Yeah, that was some really good stuff. Oh, Florida immediately swapping off to mirror that Pepino on the Ana because they recognize how much value it can get so far.
And Ragnarok has lost Rakusi here, is about to lose again their DPS. So this is a overall just slugfest right now where both teams are just brawling their picks on both sides and kind of stuck in this limbo around the first point right now.
Yeah, these picks keep happening from Clairvoyance, but the pressure is not stopping from Ragnarok. And they are going to eventually find 2 picks, but still, this is just, yeah, a slugfest for sure. Forcing out that raid from Goose, that is going to be big. Coming up on ultimates for both sides.
Yeah, but the bubble did a lot of work there to keep Addison up until they dropped to the hands of Goose.
Oh man, Picarus making an absolute another king combo fest.
And Zelox is finding a hack onto Panda as well, who falls to Picarus. Oh, Pulse Bomb not finding anybody as well. Big EMP on all the targets on Ragnarok's side, opening it up for Addison to just free fire on the team. and let them cap that first point.
First try, pretty easy. Wasn't even stressed, not even intense. That was the easiest. Dude, that was a 2-minute fight. That was some insane stuff. Again, I was pointing out on the poll. I really want to see these teams go head to head with a really more mirrored matchup because the Reinhardt and the Winston difference was just so crazy. You couldn't really see a lot. But now on this, what a mirror! I mean, these teams went absolutely wild. It even came down to the Winston bubbles on the point. How often does that happen when that like 400 HP bubble? But all right, you are going to be pressing the pressure. Papino with the nano.
And we're also seeing that Addison has an overdrive online. We'll see if any value can be there. Getting a pick onto Florida, which was huge. And another pick onto Goose. They're down 2. They're holding onto the B, which is the right move here. It might just be a good idea for them to reset. The Primal Rage not able to find Addison. Finding another pick, but Rakusi actually is able to take that 1v1 with help of Clairvoyance. Or with the rest of
Ragnarok.
Yeah, with the rest of Ragnarok. I got a little bit thrown off here. I'm having some issues with my screen, but
no,
anyway, we're going to get back into the fight here, and we're seeing that Clairvoyance come out from Florida, which gives them the ability to just push into Clairvoyance, Addison falling low, but not quite able to finish it off.
Oh man, Rakusi finding a 3K, getting these little montage clips as Winston, something you don't see very often, unless you're XQC, in which case... But,
I mean, really, Rakusi is just saying, "Hey, I'm gonna walk in here, and the rest of the team said, yeah, let's do it." And that's how you play Winston. That's how you win.
Beautiful, especially on this point of Midtown. I mean, look at these high grounds, look at these obstacles, look at this geometry. Yeah, Rakusi just hopping onto the point because it's just so close. Looks like Zelox is gonna try and find an opening coming up on EMP. Looks like they're gonna use the Kitsune.
The B coming out to deny Goose getting slept. Huge play by out for Ragnarok as well, denying any.
Yeah, denying a lot of point presence here. At that, I mean, that was just some dominating stuff. I mean, you can use a Kitsune, but if it doesn't do all the work on its own. You know, if you throw it into the middle of a team, I mean, you can. It's still what Overwatch 2 comes down, or Overwatch in general comes down to. When you use an ability, it goes on cooldown. You know, and there is then a moment where you can take advantage of that, and that is exactly what Ragnarok did. Although
a big EMP again onto Florida and Rakusi, but again, not quite able to finish it up. Florida throwing a Clairvoyance, keeping up the team, sustaining the push that Clairvoyance is putting out. But again, we're seeing some big picks come out from Goose onto Addison, but Pickers is trading onto Stasis as well.
Really cleaning up on this attack here. Oh, getting pressured, but I think it is going to be okay considering. Yeah, this is just wow. These teams just go at it.
Lasting a while, but Pickers is hoping to end it here with the Nano Winston, challenging the rest of the team with a backup from Zelox and from Addison, getting the cart moving again with a minute until second point.
Rakusi being ever so kind as to donate some generous ult charge to the much needing team of Clairvoyance at this time. You are heading into less than a minute left. You're coming up on a Kitsune and Addison's overclock. You don't have a beat though if you're a Ragnarok, and swapping off of that Kiriko on a composition, you're losing kind of that utility and emphasis for kind of utility and just rawness, which Rakusi does have, but you can kind of see how this is working out with a lot of these teams. It looks like Goose going for the aggressive play.
Yeah, and we're seeing a huge death losses come out here. Maybe huge than the word to use there, since Addison just ended up cleaning up Goose. Rakusi trading as well, but it's really just Addison and Rakusi fighting here. With the Primal Rage, Picker is coming in onto the Panda, not quite finding it, chasing him across the map. With the hack as well, helping out, but he's able to just squeeze out of the fight. Heading into overtime here, this is do or die time for Ragnarok. And it seems like they might do it. The B coming out here is pretty much the cherry on top.
Yeah, there's the map win. Man, that Ragnarok was something they were monstrous. They were monstrous on Nepal was getting right up in Clairvoyance's faces, holding those choke points right next to them to specifically not just like, oh, let's start a fight right here and now. Let's do a brawl. Let's do a toe to toe. No, what they did a lot of the time was shut off a lot of the opportunities that Clairvoyance could do. On this first point is phenomenal. This defense literally got them down to an overtime. Got them over to an overtime on the second point too. But that first point especially was just like. I mean, some downright magical stuff. I mean, like, because there was because now Clairvoyance was a team who could kind of cut off these waves, who could kind of start dives before Ragnarok really had time to shut them off, and that's what it came down to in a lot of in a lot of the fights on the second point of what just happened is.
And I want to shout out the supports on Clairvoyance too, because every single time, you call me saying, "Oh, here comes a big Death Blossom from Goose." Every single time, either I believe it was Pepino on the Lucio was just ready with beat, or there was a sleep, or there was just something that was preventing Goose every single time from being able to get that value.
That something also goes by the name of Addison, but no, overall, yeah, some phenomenal plays. It's just shutting down a lot of the members of Ragnarok at these crucial times. But like, I think Rakusi swapping off from the support to the tank was kind of the big kind of crucial factor here heading into this half.
Yeah, seriously. Again, you were saying that wow factor.
There you go.
Back every single time getting those every single time we're seeing those off angles, and also the massive value coming Sombra as well.
Oh man, the Zelox on that Sombra was something else. I'm hoping to see more of it after this halftime. I mean, these two teams have been absolutely going at it. These like 2-minute long fights. I mean, holy smokes! Well, don't get out of your seats because this is a nail biter.
Yeah, and speaking of nail biters, we're about to head to a halftime, so you won't want to miss the rest of this series. So we will be back soon.
Hello, welcome back. It's quite the halftime. Everyone really got to gather their belongings. Everyone got to get their drinks, get their popcorn, settle back into this absolute adrenaline rush of a matchup between these two teams so far. We're talking 2 minutes fights. We're talking little niche hero swaps. We're talking wide fights. We're talking, oh my god, just every single character having a cinematic moment to each their own. And now what better place for a spectacular performance other than Circuit Royale?
Right, and I mean, we already saw Panda zooming across the map, so this is the race car one, so this is going to be perfect to see more Lucio action too. We're seeing them race on the point, we're seeing them sit on the point, we're seeing Lucios everywhere, right? So it's really been an exciting series. So so this is again a new Overwatch 2 map, and I honestly, it's probably one of my more, I guess, favorable ones, one of the ones that I like more, because I don't know, that part in the middle where you just go up the hills is just so weird, and I'm really excited to see how these two teams play that.
Dude, when Blizzard or someone took a pic before the beta was out, so like coming up to the beta release, someone on Twitter posted a picture of just that curve in that middle, and dude, it made my mind freaking like wander for ages. I was just like, that may look like the simplest little stupid, like, oh, just get around it, dude. Right. That's a thinker. That's the infamous thinker right there. I love it so much. So, a lot of the teams getting stopped beforehand though, and particularly at least a lot of that flat curve leading up to it. Something just because there's no really momentum necessarily for either side. I mean, you have the cliff behind you if you're defense, and you have all that space with you if you're offense. So really, just coming down to like how to approach that if you lose momentum. Now, momentum has been something that both of these teams have been hard fighting for. I mean, you're talking about Lucio's flying across the map. We're talking Sombros getting three MPs. We're talking Marcusi getting four kills on Winston. So a lot of these teams playing these really
There's
mobile
a lot
comps.
of flying happening during these games. A lot of flying, but Widowmaker might put a stop to that, because you know how Widowmakers, especially in my quick play games, at least they love the top of this hill. So. We'll see what team comps they end up cooking up here, what they bring out of the lab. Maybe there's been a little something they've been hiding in scrims. Who knows?
Oh my! I mean, friggin' these teams have just been running just the monstrosity Winston compositions, just really tearing it up, and looks like it's going to be a complete change from that. Yeah, what else for both sides, as you were talking about, and Pepino on Ana. I mean, I'm loving the Ana picks from Pepino so far. It looks like, this is going to be interesting.
It's gonna be interesting too. I was looking forward to the Widow duel, but it seems like they're going to play the Sim for that TP.
I would immediately for a TP. I'm like, oh, can you go up to that spot where the Florida Mayhem or whatever got freaking
I don't know how to fly here, but the talking about flying again. I mean, that's been the theme, I guess, with this series. We're gonna see a lot of flying coming from Quicksilver on the Hammond.
So. Oh, that is true.
Panda better watch out.
Ooh. I mean, a little grapple shot onto some guy. That's not bad, but all right. Quicksilver, I think they've anticipated them having a Widowmaker. Goose of all people is going to be on it, having this little high ground spot. Quicksilver probably trying to find a target to dive on, especially when some guy can discord them too. Yeah, going to be applying some frontline pressure.
There's going to be, I mean, I was just Panda though. It's just sitting there on the ledge. I 1 HP, and I guess because he didn't look down, unfortunately, and he falls down along with Florida. Maniacal doing a good amount of damage here, just dashing in, again pulling to this slow side of the curve. So the fun part is over, right? Now we have to deal with this hill. Now it's all uphill until the second point, right?
Yeah, that is the complete opposite saying of it's all downhill from here. And Maniacal and Quicksilver being new members of this team is going to actually, I mean, you're going to garner momentum from just that alone. The different hero swaps that these specific people can do. It is going to make an even fight, but coming up so close on that checkpoint.
Right, and trading out the DPS here. Quicksilver looking for and getting a slam on Rikusi. Some guy finding a pick on Florida in the backline, but again, this just line of sight makes it so difficult for Ragnarok to push up.
Now you're talking about quick play with. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go with Clairvoyance trying to push up. That's what I was going to say, because with that Hammond, I mean that early pick onto onto Goose just kind of, that opens it up. Like I said, that's the strength, the Widowmaker, the Zen being able to just shoot down here.
Yeah, and when Goose is taking quick play strats and just chilling up on that top, it is going to make it pretty easier for Quicksilver to take advantage of that, especially considering the Rikushi on the Sigma. However, Goose just got maniacal.
Yeah, Goose is looking for some more grapple picks, not able to find it, but that's okay because actually Panda's going to get a kill here instead, so you don't have to worry about that Widowmaker when your Zenyatta's doing all the work, right?
Yeah, absolutely true, and almost coming up around this kind of spawn area, which is kind of some risky stuff, which you can do though if Rikushi's on the Sigma. You have everyone facing forward, you got a shield, but it's not going to make much use if Goose is down and Maniacal's blading your front line.
Yeah, Maniacal is looking for some picks in the back line, trying to chase down the Sojourn, but ends up finding another pick instead. Actually falling to the Sojourn, which, I mean, that sucks, but sometimes you need to know when to pull back to your team. You need to know when you've already won the fight, and it's just time to pull back a little bit.
That's true. I mean, coming up on 2 ults if you're Clairvoyance. Oh!
Might see a Mines here, exactly trying to zone them out from the point. Stace is trying to clear a path in, but it won't matter if you have 2 picks in. Even that window, but the window's doing a lot of work with the overclock here, so they're actually able to hold the point.
Yeah,
and again,
I don't think
get that high ground control.
Yep. Clairvoyance, I don't think had enough players necessarily to really carry the momentum from those mines, which are huge mines, getting 2 players, really forcing a floor to put a window right in front of the cart. I mean, Stasis did make use of it, but now coming up only on 2 ultimates and very passive ultimates if you are, ooh, ouch.
Oof, yeah, that rock hurts.
Not as much as Quicksilver in your backline. Getting that Zenyatta to half health, that's going to be some... Yeah, it's going to force out an immortality field, but man, the kick to the face.
The kick to the face, that's kick all the way back to spawn. That one hurts.
That's true, yeah. Goose, again, with these grapple hooks, trying to find someone. Got that the body shot on that in the first round, but, I mean, first point, but now some guy, yeah, really passive ults from both sides. It's getting kind of hard for Clairvoyance to really try and, like, find a character to really just dive in on because the peel from hitting the tree.
Widow 1v1. Ragnarok's looking to take advantage of this height, but that doesn't matter when there's a little bit of a Genji brawl happening. That kind of ends that little episode, forcing the field out as well, ending the push from Clairvoyance. Might be a big lift here, catching both the Genji and Quicksilver. But the Transcendence is going to heal it all the way back up.
Oh yeah, and finding 2 picks on some very key players, the DPS. Some guy finding two, almost. I don't know if there's a third one, but finding 2 picks in Zenyatta, you're walking away with a smile on your face. And oh man, yeah, still Panda having this Transcendence.
Taking a little bit of a nap here. Using the ult to get out, I mean, that might be a little questionable, but if you find a pick for it, then I guess it's okay, especially when Ragnarok is able to, well, I guess not when Ragnarok is able to follow up with 2 of their own, so we're kind of at a tie in terms of tempo here.
Oh yeah, friggin', oh my gosh. Panda has held this Transcendence for about 2.5 years, and I think they're saving it to rebound, because you don't really have to necessarily save it for anything. I mean, oh wow, some pressure from that Stasis right there, coming up 80 on an overclock. Again, Quicksilver in their backline, and now opening it up for Maniacal to go in. Has this blade?
Have a blade, the nano, but the Transcendence is coming out for a counter. Still holding that space with Quicksilver and able to hopefully find a pick here, but they end up trading actually with Panda.
Oh man, I mean, you can see exactly the patient Panda gets the max value with the Transcendence, especially onto the Nano Blade. But 2 minutes on the clock and about 10 meters to go. Coming up on some crucial ultimates as well if you're Clairvoyance. Oh, right to the face.
Another kick all the way back to spawn, looking for another pick onto Panda, but falls with the Transcendence in hand.
Oh yeah, and even picks.
Ragnarok again, holding, trying to hold on to the point, lifting it up, and cleaning it up too.
There it is, forcing out very important ultimates. If you're a clairvoyance, forcing out tank ult, forcing out support ult, even a Florida Panda now in the Kiriko Brig kind of setup, which is spectacular. This historically hard last point to capture for Circle Royale, and swapping off to very staggered competent supports. Especially, okay, Goose is the only one who really has an ultimate, but some guy has a chance for it. Zelox making a swap onto Ashe is going to be pretty crucial here. Coming up 69% on an ult charge, but Maniacal falls.
Oh man, that's a big pick for Ragnarok here. That's not what you want to see from Clairvoyance, especially since that was one of your most crucial players. I mean, you still have the ult advantage here with Pepino about to get the nano as well here, and really they don't really have any ults on the side of Ragnarok.
Shoot, neither side really having ultimates, but Zelox has a pick, and Quicksilver intends to make an emphasis on that.
Yeah, you really got to capitalize where you can when you're at that disadvantage. But Goose gets slept here. No real follow-up, unfortunately. But a Blade is going to come out, immediately countered by the Trance, nanoing the Axe too. We're going to see another slugfest on point here.
Oh, Bob doing absolute work.
Yeah, seriously, but Stasis countering it. Panna also getting a pick onto the supports.
Oh. Zelox having the hack on range, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is do or die time again. We're seeing a lift onto Maniacal, and Ragnarok is hoping to hold here, but Clairvoyance really is not making it easy.
No, absolutely not. Again, these two teams just go so hard against each other. I mean, this is exactly what you want to see from the playoffs.
Expires.
Yep. This was, I mean, just some phenomenal, just like I was talking about earlier. Oh, the playoffs are going to be like, they're my favorite thing. They're so adrenaline pumped. Man, this is exactly what you'd expect from the playoffs. I mean, it was just back and forth, these even picks. Even on the high ground as Ashe, you have so much utility, and when you got Quicksilver on the ball, I wish Quicksilver was the ball players that I had in my comp games, because the pressure he outputs, it was just phenomenal. The damage, the pick potentials, as well as just the synergy with the DPS. I mean, especially Maniacal on the Genji, there was just so many openings and so many opportunities that they took advantage of. But that last point I was saying is just so hard to get if you're attacking. I mean, it's also hard to defend, but in this case, I mean, it was hard for both teams, because what Clairvoyants are trying to do is find a way to, they want to come out with a bang. They want to have some fireworks on the point, and they want to take it all in one go. Time and time again, Rakissi has been a very big issue for Clairvoyants as a whole. The way this tank player goes about with the rest of the team, I was talking earlier, like if the synergy from the supports for Clairvoyants are one of the very best hearts of fluid hearts for their team. For Ragnarok, you're gonna have a lot of tank play that's more centered around. And when you got tank play going up against support play is gonna have technically more of a survivability in the long fest if everyone's playing around tank play how they're necessarily in quotes supposed to. Because he's swapping off to the Sigma to attack, they're probably expecting Widow, probably putting a shield in front of it. Both Widows just going neck and neck.
Right, and wow, we're seeing an immediate pick from Goose, shutting it down, opening up that first push. And we're already seeing some space getting given up here.
Yeah.
So the other thing when you're talking about Rikusi moving forward is that, you know, both the massive support from Panda and Florida, and Maniacal's looking for a pick on the back line, but you can see that Rikusi is right there making it tough for him. But Maniacal does not care. It doesn't matter how hard it is. He's going to find a pick. Also going to continue committing onto Goose, continue committing on to Florida as well, and they are going back to spawn.
You know what I would type right now? Nice spawn. Give a rating 10 out of 10 because I love this map.
I'm gonna leave a little Airbnb review.
Oh yeah, put a spray on one of their billboards in front of them so they have something to remember me by. The way Clairvoyance is going about this is phenomenal. A lot of these maps have just been Clairvoyance kind of getting stuffed, and a lot of the choke points kind of held by. Oh wow, yeah, still.
And slamming in and able to get out for free. We're not seeing much damage going onto Quicksilver here, but Maniacal on the other hand is getting sent back, and we might even see a pick onto Stasis as well. The mine's coming out from Quicksilver, trying to hold on to that point, but Rakusi is really getting the support that he needs to sit on the cart as that Sigma. Sigma, I mean, he's just such a force when it comes to rotating while denying the angles that, you know, the enemy Widow is looking for.
I mean, that force that Sigma player has is gravity, and gravity is going to be pretty heavy considering. I was about to roast because he's so hard on accident. But Quicksilver applying the pressure. I'm trying to say that Clairvoyance is running a very mobile team, and they're taking complete advantage of the kind of tank lineup that. But they say that
coming from Goose onto Zealox and Florida finding it's just going to be a wipe from Ragnarok on the Clairvoyance, and they're going to start to move towards that uphill battle. Quicksilver going to try and be a, that little annoying hamster that we all love to see in our games, right? Just rolling through. Yep. Not able to do much about it. Brig can't even stun anymore. This is Overwatch 2, if you forgot.
Classic. Literally just rolling around on these. Stasis swapping over to this Tracer.
Seeing the Nano Blade coming out, they have no Transcendence to counter it. Even the immo won't be enough. When I pick on the Panda and looking for the Brig, but the Rally is just getting so much value here. Yeah, even Freya's looking for another pick, but that backline is sitting nice and pretty, sniping down from the high ground, making it really hard for Clairvoyance to push forward.
Quicksilver on the ball.
And just another ult to kind of close it around, close out the fight. But I mean, these are just some last minute contests here. Nothing too serious.
Yeah, I mean, Quicksilver just absolutely throwing these mines left and right. I mean, that was at least the 15th ult he's gotten this game. Stasis swapping up to this Tracer is very interesting. They swapped to last round, a very subtle kind of play, especially the kind of pressure you can apply if you are Stasis right now. It kind of messes up the kind of aggression that Quicksilver is taking, because now you're pressuring some guy, now you're pressuring Peppino. You can already see Stasis is in the backline.
Yeah, seriously, and we can't have, when you can't be supporting that Hammond, which really needs help, the Hammond really works when you have those off angles going, then, I mean, the Tracer just counters that. So we're going to see 2 fall from here on the side of Clairvoyance, ending the push.
I mean, there it goes. I mean, Goose has been pretty dominant on this Widow so far. Zealox swapping over to the Ashe. You are going to be coming up on 3 very crucial ultimates if you are Clairvoyance, and you do have time as they're wrapping around this payload. Panda with the window, they're looking to press the aggression, and they do.
Mines coming out here, and the Sigma ult. We're looking to see where it goes, and it's looking for the Genji. The Genji's floating, can't do much here, unfortunately, but Goose is going to clean up. We see a Rally coming out as well from Ragnarok. It's going to give them a lot of sustain as they begin to push into these mines and onto the point. But at this point, there's really no one there to contest them. So that Rally just kind of seals the deal. That's the stamp on the envelope.
Yep. Typical Brig, am I right? No.
Typical Brig. Just just getting up in your face, and when you have that little tank next to you as Rikusi, you have your little right hand Brig, then it just makes it that much easier to walk forward, especially against its ball.
Absolutely, and I think, oh man, that's gonna be rough.
That is a large pick. Gives them a lot of tempo to move forward, especially if it gets this pick onto Maniacal, but able to dash out here quickly, maybe see a pulse bomb, not able to, forced out.
Oh wow. Goose finding a pick onto Maniacal is also gonna be, Goose doesn't stop cracking.
Really just is this Goose game? Because that's pretty obnoxious, right? For I mean, I bet they must be hating him from Clairvoyance, or hating the Widowmaker. So we're seeing another pick come out from Ragnarok onto Someday. At this point, they're starting to push into final fight territory here. Quicksilver trying to hold as they have 2 minutes still to push into the end. Looking for a pick, but the Trance is going to come out to save Maniacal, slamming into 2 mines for Florida, taking out the MO2 along with that. This is an overall slugfest again. We have both people in each other's backlines with the healers. Nobody's able to go down.
Oh wow.
It's really just a slugfest. Finally, Rikusi is taken out alongside Panda, and that's gonna clear it up for Clairvoyance.
Yeah, I mean, first try, right? I mean, you're finally taking this point back. Now, in the last round, it was very hard for Clairvoyance to even attack this last point, but they did it very, very well because they had Quicksilver on the ball. Now, heading into about a minute left, you're going to be forced to take the high ground here just to shake things up if you're Ragnarok, but you only have a team that really makes use of the high ground.
And
wow.
Quicksilver's falling
No.
very low. They find the pick. They have 4 ults online. This is looking really good for Ragnarok right now. But Zealot is looking for the picks, can't find anyone. And same, they're gonna shut down this Genji blade as well. And at this point, it's kind of easy pickings unless Quicksilver can do that annoying ball stall that we all know.
Ooh, coming up 70 on those mines, but some guy falling down. Looks like this is going to come down to just kind of stalling this point as Florida presses you.
Florida pushes in with a rally. It's unkillable, Brigitte.
Oh.
But Pepino finds a pick as well, making it tough for Ragnarok to keep pushing in. The mines are coming online. We're seeing them come out on point. That's going to be a large zoning ultimate. Taking down Rakusi. Nano the ball. You cannot kill Quicksilver right now. It's just impossible. And we're going to see another slam. It's 1 second left. Freya's fighting to get onto this point, but the mines are there.
Wait, are they?
It's a C9.
I'm not even gonna lie. I found myself biting my thumbnails.
I guess they pushed them off a point, so maybe not too much of a C9. I'm not giving them enough credit, but yeah, that was definitely a nail biter.
Oh yeah, that was just some phenomenal stuff. Clairvoyance really pulling it together in that last point, which again, I was trying to point out, like, oh, it was very hard for them to go about it, but they went about it very cleanly. Getting to that second point, you don't really need to get to all 3. Yeah, some guy, what a guy. But it became hard for Ragnarok to take advantage of the high ground. In that last fight, they were pressing to that high ground and they were wrapping around. They did shut out. Dude, oh my god, Maniacal dashing up there with the blade, 1v4ing. Dude, amen. But, getting shot out. But even though they took the high ground, I mean, they did. Clairvoyance did lose 2 picks up there. But after they had the high ground, Cassidy is not really going to get as much effectiveness as Zealox on the Ashe was getting up there, and Stasis on the Tracer. You're gonna have to be on point. So eventually, what it came down to was the composition synergy for Ragnarok basically fell apart in that last point, and Clairvoyance really finally found their footing and taking advantage of that and really picked apart their team to every last bit. I mean, that was overall very, very strong stuff from Ragnarok. Obviously, it came down to the wire, but finally, Clairvoyance finally could see the vision, and not only that, they took it to a map win.
Yeah, and seriously, I mean, Quicksilver the entire time, you're just like, it's like, it's like you're at a tennis game. You keep looking left and right because this ball is coming from every side, coming in nano, coming in with mines, whatever. It doesn't matter because the ball is just going to find a pick. It's going to keep going, and you just can't get rid of it. It's just I can imagine how frustrating it is, especially when it's Quicksilver that's in there.
That's true. It's you can sleep him maybe once every 12 seconds. Mm-hmm. That's if you wake up, and that's if you have the time to swap to Ana. Quicksilver was very quick on his feet. I kind of forget the hero. I'll probably have to rewatch the superhero movie, but a movie that I can get to watch right now is these 2 teams playing on Esperanza.
Yeah, that's definitely a feature you don't want to miss. I mean, I was still really enjoying the Brig play. I mean, I know Brig isn't the most popular hero in Overwatch, but when you see a good Brig that sticks by their Sigma, it's really a force to be reckoned with. And it's really something that's, pretty fun to watch because you're seeing that tank walk in on the Sigma, and you're also seeing the Brig walk beside them. It's kind of cute. They're like best friends holding hands, walking in. It's like, hey, let's go like annoy the enemy team, and let's just kind of go walk all over them and win this point. But sadly, it doesn't always work out when it comes to the team comps when you're playing against that stellar ball dive.
Oh yeah, and I think it was saying all that. I think it just made Reinhardt extremely jealous. So we won't tell him what you just said, but, but yeah, no. And if you're talking about some awesome Brig play, did you ever catch Prophet running Brig on the Slow Dynasty earlier?
Oh no, I didn't. You gotta tell me more.
Dude, I think just saying that said enough. They did not necessarily. They had these awesome matches against Shanghai. Obviously, those two teams just went at it. But oh man, profit on the Brig. I mean, just what a sight to see. You can see some of the games if you want, but they ended up swapping off of Brigida later. But anyway,
Anyway, we're going to Esperanza next. And I am, I'm curious. What kind of comps do you think that they are going to be playing on this map?
You're talking about Brig. Last map, Circle Royale threw me for 3.5 loops. These two teams playing compositions I would not have seen, or I mean, thought of, or whatever. In the first two maps, they played a lot of dive, played all Winston. In Circle Royale, they went to ball, went to what's his name? Dang. Sigma,
sure, right.
They also played a very different DPS. You saw Cassidy come out, you saw Tracer come out, you saw Ash come out even. I mean, it's just like, so on these maps I would probably think a Reinhardt at least from one of them.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see another Reinhardt, because that, I mean, we were seeing some fat shatters earlier in the series, and that always makes for really exciting gameplay when you have a Ryan that's just kind of, W keying the entire time.
Absolutely, and
you might lose the fight, but it's you get to W key, you get to run with your Lucio and speed boost, and really that's all you can ask for. Hey. So we are actually going to see the Doomfist instead of the Reinhardt hovering it, baiting us, but that's going to be, we haven't seen much Doomfist play earlier this series, so we'll see how Rikusi is able to clutch this out.
Yeah, swapping off to that Doomfist in the last seconds of Circle Royale. Pickers going to be going to the Zarya now. We're going to spot out somebody who can really start punching with the entire team, knowing that Stasis can back him up on the Soldier, knowing that Goose can also dive with him. Florida is also, looks like, again, trying to play around this Rikusi tank play, but Maniacal finds Stasis traded out with Pepino.
Yeah, Florida is just in the backline on Pepino. And I mean, this is just going to be a cleanup for Clairvoyance, it looks like, at this point, because they don't have their Moira with them, so that makes it kind of tough.
Yeah, losing your main source of healing right there, but Rikusi doesn't care. He finds two. Picaris is going to care about that a lot. Does find Rikusi. It looks like Clairvoyance is starting to get momentum here, but Stasis swapping off to the Tracer. Oh man, I don't think they're going to see this one necessarily coming, because now again, Tracer was such a detriment on Circle Royale, really bothering the support lineup for Clairvoyance, and it makes them back away.
Right, and I mean, the Roa's just going to stand still for a little bit here, as I guess both teams get their bearing. They're looking for a flank on the last side, on the backside. We'll see the Bell is already coming out too, but the anti comes out afterwards. Maniacal opening up by getting a pick on Goose as well, chasing down the enemy team.
Yeah, now just kind of brawling it out. That was some quirky stuff from Clairvoyance. I mean, just some fortune teller stuff right there. And now trying to find this pick onto Lucio.
He just kind of wall rides away, and it has to deal with that annoying Tracer in the backline. Stasis taking away that attention, making it hard for Picaris to help their team. Rikusi finding a pick onto Maniacal, pushing back Clairvoyance again. The Stasis is just getting a lot of value here, living off the health packs, pulling in those off angles, and I mean, we're already starting to get close to a large meteor strike, hopefully, from Rikusi. But on the side of Clairvoyance, they have way more ultimates coming up, so we'll see who's able to clutch this out.
Yeah, that flank might not have gotten necessarily a lot of kills and value, but it did get a lot of ult charge, but some guy falls.
The Meteor Strike tried to get onto Diana and does not find anyone, unfortunately. Ragnarok finding 2 kills, cleaning up Maniacal and also Picaris now, and that's pretty much the whole team, which gives them some headway here to start making it towards that first forward spawn, that first point they're hoping for. But Clairvoyance here again has 5 ults essentially. I mean, we'll see how they decide to stagger these out to get the most value, but I mean, this is some classic Lucio gameplay here, just sitting on the cart. I used to play Lucio. This was always my favorite part.
Nice.
Definitely being serious about that part, but we're going to see Clairvoyance start to walk in here, see what their plan is. Nanoblade, of course, coming out, finding a pick onto the backline with some guy, but Maniacal trading with
Oh,
their own blade here. And it's going to be a cleanup from Clairvoyance soon, or at least it's leaning towards our side with Stasis getting out for Ragnarok.
yeah, fantastic from Clairvoyance right there, especially Maniacal. Yeah, still pouncing for this Stasis, falling down to 1 health. Okay, yeah, Stasis just run around, but some great stuff from Clairvoyance because it stopped him right before the checkpoint.
Oh,
now
and
Stasis,
another pick
yep.
onto Stasis, putting back to the side of Clairvoyance, and they have a big advantage here because they have 3 ults online, and they only have 2 on the side of Ragnarok. They're gonna Lucio here trying to challenge the Reaper. I don't know how that's gonna work out for him.
Wow.
And that's probably gonna be Rakusi too. Yeah, Zelox just cleaning it up. It's gonna be a clean fight.
Clairvoyance earlier on the Midtown especially was a spectacular display of how Clairvoyance is really good at using their ultimates, really winning a lot of these fights with only Zelox winning using a Sombra ult, and then last fight using Nano Blade. Like, they're a very educated team, and running into Esperanza, which is a very not only educational map. This is like the college the college of Overwatch map. So
yeah, we're gonna see the Kitsune rush here countered by a grab on the Panda, but nobody looks at Panda here. It's just kind of sitting in the grab. Transit's gonna come out to as well to counter, and Zelox looking for a kill here, finds Panda, and that's gonna be the forward spawn for them. Again, they were just able to stagger using their ults for so long there. First they start off with 5, the next fight they have 3, and then they were able to clean up to get that point. And I mean, at this point, I mean, they're trying to counter on the side of Ragnarok, but they aren't really able to find too much value from theirs. That Zarya's putting in a lot of work with the bubbles.
Oh yeah, Rakusi absolutely showing that wall who's boss. Is going to Meteor Strike right after that. Finding Pepino, that's going to be big.
That's going to be a big pick. Hopefully cleaning out the rest of the back line. The Florida man taking names here too to clean up Maniacal and some guy. Talking about how dangerous people are from Florida, and I mean,
oh man,
both on the tank and on the support.
Yeah, they say gator. I was gonna say Gatorades, alligators, and crocodiles, but man, this guy's more of an animal than both of them. So, Goose does have the blade, and Panda does have that beat. That's gonna be tough running up. But Maniacal and Zelox coming up on both DPS ults, but not Maniacal.
Yeah, Maniacal's not gonna be able to use this ult. It's gonna open it up for Ragnarok. Ragnarok has a blade too. They're gonna use it to, I mean, just clean up here along with Rakusi and Panda. It's just a, it's a family effort here from the side of Ragnarok. They're cleaning up. They're really they're doing what they need to do.
Yeah, and with Stasis on this Tracer, you've made now Pipino and some guy. They've had to change up their kind of support composition, playing with the something more brawly that can have the sustainability to go more head to head against the composition of Ragnarok. But Rakusi is just, oh wow.
And we're getting a counter to the blade as well, so not gonna find too much value. Having to use the Wraith Form early, but getting booped away by Panda. Oof. So not able to find anybody. Goose is able to counter. Rakusi is able to follow up as well. And Ragnarok is just once again able to clean up the fight with only, I guess, a little more than 1 ult. We're gonna get the Coalescence on soon from the side of Clairvoyance. So yeah, Meteor Strike and a Clairvoyance from Ragnarok coming soon.
Yeah, here's the Coalescence though to start with all these this alt war coming up. Pepino, oh wow, a trade.
Yeah, a trade coming out here. The Coalescence doing a lot of work. Zarya, high charge, fighting against Rakusi. Coalescence coming out from the side of Clairvoyance as well. And that sustains them into finding 3 picks here to start to push that robot back to where they want it to be, which is the other side of the map. This whole map is just a, so push is just a tug of war, and you have to, merry-go-round, tug of war, however you want to put it. It's just an ebb and flow, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I haven't heard that saying in 2,500 years, but a classic.
Yeah, a boomer moment from one of your casters, but You know what's not who's not a boomer? Zelox finding a pick onto Goose, definitely showing some prowess there on the Reaper again, like how we were talking about earlier.
That was the most
able to get a little stagger there too.
Sorry, that was just the most Zoomer comeback, Zoomer rebound for a boomer joke ever. So that's a phenomenal testing right here. But now coming up on both DPS ults for Ragnarok right now. Pepino does have the beat and 70% to a blade. That's very doable, but this is going to be very rocky, especially considering this is the street phase.
And Goose is just looking for an early pick here, trying to open up that blade. Pulse Bomb comes out, but the Wraith Form counters it, the beat counters it. Goose struggling to find value here and falling low. But the sustain is coming out. We really just like a shaking of hands here. No one's able to really finish the fight. But Maniacal on the other side says, actually, I'm going to turn around and turn this whole fight around. Finding 2, finding 3 with the help of Pepino. So we're going to start to push it. 30 seconds left. Almost. That's going to be tough for Ragnarok.
Yeah, Maniacal really living up to his name. Gonna find 80% ult charge for
Stasis fighting early is not what you want to see. Even though they have that beat coming out, hopefully that can create some value for Zelox. With the blade coming out, finding one on Cussy, finding 2 onto Goose, just cleaning up here. This is looking good for Clairvoyance.
I'm just holding my breath at this point.
At this point, right? I mean, seriously, at this point, it's just going to be hopefully the stagger push. But I mean, the coalescence is going to keep up the team. Not anything the Winston can do. So, not anything really that Ragnarok can do for.
Oh my gosh!
Keeping them from winning. That's gonna be it. I
am so grateful that this team has made it even, and we're going head to head. These fights in these first 2 maps, I absolutely knew that Clairvoyance had it in them to pull it off, and holy guacamole, did they do that on Esperanza right here. I mean, just some fantastic stuff. That fight right there, when it came down, just shaking hands, nobody really dies from that. That was actually some fantastic stuff. The beat coming out late from Pepino to block that blade. I was talking about how little ultimates either team had, and so it really came down to when not just like, oh, this team uses ults and then it's all over, because that's literally the opposite happened. Those two teams used ults, and then everyone spread out. People had to think. People had to relocate. You saw Zarya still on the front line, kind of in an isolated spot. You had to see how the rest of the team kind of started taking the high ground to the left, how they started kind of rotating in other members closer to the return around the Zarya. But not only that, Zelox stepping from 80 to 105 BPM for their heart. That was some crazy stuff.
I want to thank chat here for the correction here, since I'm not very familiar with the players. That Goose, she's been doing a phenomenal job here, and also just kind of generally we were talking about like going back to that conversation. To what I was talking about earlier with that beat and that blade, right? It creates that awkward moment where you hit that standstill, you hit that lull in the fight where both the ults are denied, and it's really how you position yourself and what plan you make when you hit that awkward moment for who is going to take that fight. Because how do you rebound? How do you shift the momentum? Is that going to be with supports? Is that going to be with your positioning or a pick? Really, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, and when it comes down to that, I mean, you're gonna Rakusi on the Doomfist against Zarya with no ults on the field. Rakusi is a very, Doomfist is a very ability-focused hero. If you don't have the abilities, if you don't have the ultimates heading into a fight, and that's what you're dependent on, you're going to get caught out in the open. You're going to get caught red-handed, and if you're going to be running a Zarya against all that, you've got bubbles in 2 seconds. Not only that, you got 2 bubbles, you got high charge, you got room to make, you got people to push. So it kind of came down to the kind of comp synergy advantage that Clairvoyance had. Not only that, because a lot of these fights were very hand-in-hand. Stasis on the Tracer was an absolute detriment, but that specific streets phase, it's almost kind of like that flat curve of Circle Royale, but because it's just a straight line, like there's so much time. If you don't have a shield, if you don't have bubbles, if you don't have like oh, Stasis can just wrap around and start going out to the Zenyatta, but then you're caught out in the open, and not only that, everyone knows that you're you're very telegraphed, and so Clairvoyance, because they could see what everything was happening, it just kind of clicked.
Yeah, seriously. And I mean, again, with the tracer pick, right? When you have when you meet in the middle there, and you have the little corridor on the left side, if you're able to use your off angles correctly, it can be really powerful. But in the middle, also, if you're not taking those off angles at the correct time, if you're splitting from your team, as we are seeing from some of the players, then that can create an opportunity where you can get picked. Or then create an opportunity where your tank or your supports need some crucial peel that you end up missing out on.
Oh yeah,
and so that's like the really interesting part about this map as well. So there's really just a lot of moments where you can either take those strong off angles, or you can end up that off angle can turn into an opportunity where you either miss a play or you end up getting picked. So we're gonna move into our next map, our final map, Oasis here.
Oh man, I'm shaking in my chair right now. Well, not really. It's a spin chair, so I get to spin instead. I love that, but oh man, okay. The picker.
Yeah,
okay, we got a new tank.
This is a classic. This is.
Oh,
I feel like this is a classic map 5 map. This is one that when I used to play in Trank, we would scrim to death. So I'm looking forward to some strong showings here from both teams.
Oh yeah,
and seeing again some kind of hybrid brawl team comps coming out with the Florida playing the Winston and Goose on the Reaper, and keeping that Genji from Naok. Naok was getting so much value earlier.
Oh yeah, Maniacal living up to his name, and Picarus coming back onto the Zarya tank, or tank in general, and Florida also returning to the tank. Now Rakusi on the Kiriko. That may be okay. So this is kind of what was so strong for Clairvoyance. Then now Ragnarok are kind of running that against them, but I think Clairvoyance are 5 steps ahead. They've already seen this.
The 3
they've seen it coming, but yeah, they took the high ground so fast though.
Right, and that's gonna create some opportunities for Winston to drop down, do a little bit of poke with the team, and then get back out. But the Zarya bubble onto Zalox is just so strong, and he's able to just chunk down Florida. Goose is able to find a pick back, but it's just kind of like another ebb and flow here, where we're seeing one pick come out and then another pick come out from the other team. But in the end of the day, after all those trades, it's going to be Clairvoyance that comes out on top.
Absolutely, and running this specific team comp, they've been absolutely studying each and every single map ever since from Nepal. They know exactly who they're up against, and they know exactly how to go against them. What Ragnarok are doing right now, playing the kind of what Clairvoyance are running on Nepal. I'm going to say it's a little interesting, but Florida making a dive.
Florida making a dive onto the Lucio and able to clean up Goose. She's able to get the pick onto Pepino, but is that going to be enough here? Because Freya is getting a lot of value right now. Falls though, again, Goose getting another pick, but Picker is trading it onto Rakusi, finding that with that high energy Zarya, and again, it's just a big slugfest on the point with another beat coming out to sustain Ragnarok, and that's a crucial pick onto Pepino again, preventing that beat from coming out. Some guy falling too. That's basically the lifeline of
oh my gosh,
Clairvoyance. But I guess they don't need the lifeline.
That was so hard
because the fight's continuing to go.
I mean, that was some crazy stuff. Picarus was getting some massive picks throughout that fight. A fight that lasted to eventually 61%, which is absolutely huge. And also, Picarus having this grab, Zelox having this blossom. You got a combo on your hands, and Panda doesn't have anything to say about that. You're gonna have to play aggressive. You're gonna have to use this Rakusi, Kiriko, I forgot the name. Ultimate, kind of aggressively here.
Like Kitsune Rush, right? And they're sitting inside of this with the overdrive. That's going to be just, it's a dartboard, just shooting down the middle. But they're going to counter with the grab. Zelox getting 2 picks here. But Pickers is going to fall to Goose. So really, this is going to open it up for Ragnarok to start to move the point.
Oh, man. Yeah, I think it's
Freya
just
tapping
stasis.
alone, but I don't know how much is going to be able to get done here. They're stalling, but I don't know if this is the play here for Ragnarok, since they already have that point presence. They already are down players, so they're just feeding all charge to Clairvoyance here.
Yeah, normally I would be like, oh well, stall no matter what because every percentage is going to matter. But now when you don't have the support ultimates even at half ult charge for Ragnarok, you're going to want to limit as much ult charge as you're giving, so you give your supports time to build up ults of their own. Coming up 70% on
Yeah, that's a crucial pick because I was going to say someday it started with a Clairvoyance and got another one, but at the end of the day, we're going to see Someday falling, and also Goose getting a big pick on Maniacal, looking for another one onto Pepino, but Someday is back just in time to stabilize the team with that Coalescence.
Oh yeah, wrapping around this corner with these Blossom, I mean, you're going to try and limit the ultimates you're using here. If you're Ragnarok, you are going to eventually force a Blossom. That's not going to be, that's going to be pretty expected.
And that might even turn the tide for Ragnarok.
Oh.
With especially the beat to counter that blade, there's really not much here that Clairvoyance can do.
Yeah,
I mean, some great synergy here from the team.
There it is. I mean, you did force out, again, Panda with the beat. Although, considering that fight, they know that Picarus isn't getting as much all charge. You're going to come up 70 to a grab, which, coming up 70% on also the point progress, that is Overwatch 2's basically last point, last fight, like, time. Coming up, okay, again with the Kitsune Rush and the high ground.
And with the overclock too, I mean, they have to win every single fight right now. So they're going to try and use this. I mean, Zelox is going up top with a bubble, countered by the Bell, but is it going to be enough? Panda barely surviving on the side of Ragnarok with the Kitsune Rush, helping put out that extra damage onto Picarus. Picarus falling dangerously low here, going down to Rakusi, and Florida's just kind of cleaving in the back line. Support's doing a fantastic job of sustaining Florida, getting that value, and then Pepino ends up stabilizing as well by having the ult come out on the side of Clairvoyance. This fight is just continuing and continuing. It's going to be for, this is for all the marbles here for the first point. It's 9-9 on each side. Neither team wants to give up. The Coalescence is stabilizing. We haven't seen it in so long. But Clairvoyance is going to crack it open with picks onto both Florida's and just cleaning it up here at this point. So it's going to be close. They have maybe half a second. I don't think they're going to be able to get back in time. Yep.
Beautiful, beautiful. I mean, I think what it came down to was the high ground kind of thing. Again, kind of like from Circle Royale, Ragnarok taking that high ground kind of angle when you don't really have the composition to really support. Like if you're gonna have high ground, don't just have it to have it. You need to have it so that way you can do stuff from it. If you want to challenge a fight on the high ground, I mean, like, they can just ignore you, just go on a point, That's inevitably what it comes down to. And Zelox having the absolute he literally TP'd up to their high ground and ults and finds and shuts down Stasis's overclock. I mean, that's just some bold stuff. And overall, because Clairvoyance, again, the educated team, the educated, they're aware of they've studied the crap out of Ragnarok, and just knowing that even a play like that can just shut down
both of these teams,
so much, yeah.
I mean, both of these teams have definitely done their homework. I mean, they know that when you force out that Bell, get them to drop, then that's going to be free pickings onto the support line, right?
Oh yeah.
Make the most for Maniacal. You're going to open it up for them. So at this point, we're going to see Ragnarok on the point. Freya trying to get an angle onto Pepino. Getting a decent amount of energy there too.
Yes,
but
70 charge with some guy.
Find some very important picks, taking out half the support line, and fighting back Clairvoyance.
Yeah, it does find that point presence. That is going to be something to deal with, but looks like they're looking to rotate around this left side. They might go on the fun jumpy pad. They do got time. They're trying to find they're going to dive before Florida can dive them, which is pretty smart considering they know how to play against the monkey composition. Looks like they are going to take that jump pad, which I love.
Right, yeah, it's that's the key, right? High ground, but I mean, what is that high ground worth if you can't even see the other team? You don't have an opportunity to make a play. You're gonna have to force walking down. And at this point, Maniacal's looking to dash forward, but gets pushed back by the side of Ragnarok.
I mean,
Really, every single time Maniacal's looking for something, they just match them. Kitsune Rush is coming up for extra damage here. Vakusi and Florida finding picks. Goose finding another big pick. It's really just ring around the rosy here in the middle, and it's just they're not finding that. They're not finding the plays that they need on the side of Clairvoyance.
That was one hell of a Kitsune rush. I mean, the fight, finally only winning a fight with just one ultimate, coming up on 60%. Yeah, Clairvoyance they left Picarus on the low ground, which I think was part of the strat. Like everyone dives in front of Picarus. Picarus can just walk in and bubble, but it didn't go as smoothly considering how now mobile Ragnarok's comp is, which they haven't had to deal with something so mobile since Nepal. So coming up on several ultimates, it is going to take a long time. This is one fight.
Right, this is a fight where Overclock is going to be online. Nanoing the Kiriko, I wonder if that was supposed to go to Maniacal, but it doesn't matter because at this point, Stasis and Goose aren't going to care. They're going to take out whoever's in front of them. And at this point, they're going to also use the Kitsune Rush, which there's some decisions happening here that I may not agree with, but it is 99%, so you have to work with what you got on point, and you can't blame them for trying. So at this point, Goose is just going to look for the cleanup, and that's going to be a little bit of flair coming with the final Death Blossom here, so it's going to be a 1-1.
Friggin' just shooting one shotgun, then blossoming right in his face. I saw like, again, I'm going to mention the playoffs and Grand Finals. I saw Florida Mayhem going up against, I think it was Defiant. Not sure if that's correct, but freaking the Blossom kind of matchup, trying to blossom in front of each other, and then just like, oh, they're blossoming, I'm going to blossom right in front of them, and then they died. But overall, I love seeing that kind of matchup from the Reapers, and it looks like Zelox is going to now mirror that heading into this next, oh man, this is the last round. Oh, Florida's bringing out the Reinhardt from match 1.
Florida is bringing out the Reinhardt, and you know how hype we are to see that, because that means Florida and Goose are going to be W keying down the middle. They're going to be walking in, and they're going to be claiming their spot potentially for next week, right? This is do or die right now. This is last map, last point.
Yeah, and you're gonna want to give it your hearts, everything they've got. Some guy in the Mora is gonna make this a very brawl-worthy competition. Picarus on the Zarya, they are gonna pressure out that Bell immediately. Reinhardt's down to half health, but oh my gosh!
Goose is just picking up a pick. Stasis, their backline is gone. That makes it so easy for Ragnarok to push up. And I mean, at this point, Maniacal, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer to get back in the fight.
Oh yeah, I almost expected a teabag right there. Freaking. Okay, but now, okay, Clairvoyance, they very much understood that. They pushed it, they just got, their supports got screwed, I'm gonna be honest. But now we're heading into this next fight, you have the brain, you have the patience, you're gonna try and go about this kind of in a way that you can make the absolute use of some guy in the Moira. Looks like Maniacal's already gonna test the high ground.
Pushing up top, but it's just these rotations here. These rotations are everything. Every time, I mean, they're looking to go up. Oh my, almost falling off, but limit testing here. So far, they aren't able to break through on the side of Clairvoyance. Florida just holding it down.
Oh, with the Shatter too, this is going to be detrimental.
Yeah, 5 ults coming online. Clairvoyance coming through. Probably going to look for a Shatter on the Moira. And it is catches one here. But the beat helps stabilize here. Maniacal still finding a pick through. Some guy finding another pick through. And Goose trading back. So this is just a back and forth with the Death Blossom online. And the Death Blossom finds we're just swinging back and forth here. It's just a pendulum on either side. You never know where it's going to go. But Goose says, I know where this is going to go. It's going to go to my team because I'm just better. maybe that's what she's thinking, but that is what happened there, is that she in that moment was the better DPS player who was able to find those crucial picks. Maniacal is looking for those off angles though, so hopefully we'll see some great plays there.
Yeah, trying to press this momentum, keep this momentum going into making it a 99-0 cap. Zealox does get pinned, but Maniacal with the blade out.
Getting a important shatter, finding two. Those are two major players, but the Zarya has high charge. Maybe he can find a pick.
Oh my god.
Florida with a 4-man. Give Florida 5k, please. This Florida man is a menace.
Oh, the 4K is something you're gonna be happy with when you get a 99-0 cap for the last round, as Ragnarok right there. Well, that was, oh my, I honestly, Clairvoyance almost got a reverse sweep.
What a way to close it out. Seriously, I mean, it was so back and forth in the first two maps. We go to point 3, but in the end, point 3, you know, Ragnarok said this is our point 3. It's not even going to be a question.
Well, Ragnarok said that, but also Florida said that.
Florida and Goose said that. Goose was stellar on that point.
Yeah, they really brought what was phenomenal about this in particular was that they brought back the Reinhardt Reaper synergy from the first map on Control, which didn't actually end up working out for them. They had to swap off and do all these shirks and gammies just to get a map win onto Clairvoyance. But in the end, they could play what they wanted to play, and they played it knowing full well what Clairvoyance was capable of. Percus on the Zarya was different than the Winston. So I mean, already some like things you could possibly like some new things to take advantage of, get owned by some. I mean, Maniacal dashing over to that side onto the high ground, that was big in my eyes, because it made Florida have to rotate their entire team to the high ground, which makes them absolutely useless. I don't think Ragnarok has actually gotten much use on the high ground. So once they did get up there, you had this kind of opening if you're Clairvoyance, but taking advantage of that opening was the big issue. You said so many times Clairvoyance trying to push through, Clairvoyance trying to find these ways, and there was so much alt charge being gained from Ragnarok during those moments. I think what it came down to was the kind of specifically the Kiro, kind of the icing on top to the compositions for Ragnarok here, considering what you could do with the bell. Not only that, the healing you can do, the damage you can do, and specifically you can stop any flankers and stuff from Clairvoyance trying to dive onto you, which was something that was an issue in Circle Royale when Stasis just went Tracer and rampaged their backline.
Right, seriously. I mean, I was hoping to see a little bit more value come out from the Zarya bubbles, but what ended up happening is that every single time there was a beat, every single time there was a cleanse, there was some kind of answer each time to whenever there was some sort of Zarya bubble combo coming out. And we saw that on Midtown, and then we saw it again on this map. And I really liked how Ragnarok first was matching the Winston, then decided, hey, we know our strengths with the Reinhardt Reaper, and we're just going to play to that. You know, sometimes that really is what it is. What we were talking about right at the beginning is that it's comfort. Sometimes, you know, the meta pick, if you're forcing it, it's not the way to go.
Exactly. That's what Overwatch 2 is all about, man.
Yeah, definitely. Especially in these matches where, you know, you're not dealing with randoms, you're dealing with your teammates who you've been scrimming for the entire season. And it's do or die time, right? It's the if you lose, you're out of the bracket. So
sure, and you could definitely see how hard Clairvoyants were fighting for that. I mean, I was really thinking to myself, if they reverse sweep this? I mean, like I wouldn't have even like that. I was really hoping for this team to win, and you know what? Like even though they lost. Holy smokes, that was the win in my books. That was some phenomenal play. You made it to map 5. You made it to the last round of Control Point. And they got you with the classic. They hit you right from the start with something you wouldn't have expected any day of the week. You thought you had them all the way down. And man, you did. I said time and time again, Clairvoyance is a very educated team. These were these dives, these rebounds, and the reflexiveness from this team. That there was so much displayed, so much strength. And again, I want to shout out the support line, how they play around the support line, but like holy guacamole, so like maniacal, insane, some insane Genji plays, and then you got the rest. Oh my god, I mean, just like overall, sorry, this
was a slam dunk of a series. It was truly a slugfest. So multiple 2-minute fights going on where the supports just refused to let their team die. Yep. You know, we saw that amazing ball play, and really, I mean, you're going to hear about it more probably on the podcast. And then also you're going to want to vote for the next match and predictions for next week once they're released. So keep an eye there on the Discord. And again, check out the website, tranquility.gg. And really just thanks for tuning in again. This broadcast and this league is impossible without the supporters of all the people watching and those participating. So shout out to all the teams for all their hard work scrimming and playing through this season.
Big shout out. And you're one of them. So, I mean, thanks for participating. That's cool. I don't think I've seen your team play, but I mean, what team were you on?
Oh, so I used to sub for Reckless NA Alpha.
Reckless NA. Wow, what
So
a
that was
bold name.
that was about like 2 years ago, I think it was. So it was a little bit ago. So
No, that's freaking dude. I'm not even gonna lie. I want to make a team and like freaking join next season because I've just seen this community is so freaking awesome, man. So that's just some great stuff.
yeah, I mean, there's nothing like that. There's nothing like scrimming and getting better with your teammates, with your friends. So if you haven't before, then I would encourage you to try out. So with that, we're going to end the show, and hopefully you will join us for the next match. Thanks so much, and see you next time.
See you.